Here's a number that might surprise you. Nearly 1 in 3 adults over 60 has some level of knee wear that makes deep squatting uncomfortable or even painful. And if you've ever felt that grinding, aching sensation when you try to lower yourself down, you already know what I'm talking about. The frustrating part? Most fitness advice still pushes squats as the gold standard for leg strength. But here's what nobody tells you. You don't actually need squats to build powerful, capable legs. In fact, there are 3 specific exercises that target the exact same muscles while being dramatically easier on your knees. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do them, why they work so well, and how to put them together into a simple routine you can start today. Let's get into it. First, we need to talk about why squats can become a problem as we get older. This isn't about blaming age or making excuses. It's about understanding what's actually happening inside your knee joint so you can train smarter. Your knee is a remarkable piece of engineering. It handles enormous forces every single day. But over time, the cartilage that cushions the joint can start to wear down. This happens gradually, often without any obvious injury. By the time you reach your 60s, there's a good chance you've lost some of that protective cushioning. Studies show that roughly a third of people in their 60s have visible cartilage changes on imaging, and that number climbs even higher into the 70s and 80s. Now, here's where squats become tricky. When you perform a deep squat, you're compressing that knee joint under load. For a healthy joint with plenty of cartilage, that's no problem. The cushioning absorbs the force and distributes it evenly. But when the cartilage has thinned out, that compression creates friction. Bone starts to get closer to bone. And that's when you feel it, that deep ache, that reluctance to bend, that sense that something just isn't right. The muscles don't know the difference, though. Your quadriceps, your glutes, your hamstrings, they respond to resistance regardless of which exercise delivers it. And this is the key insight. You can build just as much strength, maintain just as much function, and protect your independence just as effectively using exercises that don't require deep knee bending under load. This isn't about giving up on your legs. It's about choosing movements that work with your body instead of against it. Let's start with the first exercise. And it's one that might seem too simple to be effective. But trust me on this. The glute bridge is one of the most powerful lower body exercises you can do, and it places virtually zero stress on your knee joint. Here's why this matters so much. Your glutes are the largest muscle group in your entire body. They power every step you take. They help you stand up from a chair. They keep you stable when you're walking on uneven ground. And here's something most people don't realize. Weak glutes are actually a hidden cause of knee pain. When your glutes can't do their job, other structures have to pick up the slack. Your knees end up absorbing forces they were never designed to handle alone. Research has consistently shown that strengthening the glutes leads to measurable improvements in knee pain and function. One review of multiple studies found clear benefits for people with knee arthritis when they focused on gluteal strengthening. The connection makes sense when you think about it. Your glutes control the position of your thigh bone, and your thigh bone is the upper half of your knee joint. When you build strong glutes, you're essentially giving your knee a more stable foundation to work from. Now let's talk about how to actually do this exercise. You'll start by lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Your arms can rest by your sides with palms facing down. From here, you're going to press through your heels and lift your hips toward the ceiling. The movement comes from squeezing your glutes, not from pushing with your lower back. At the top, your body should form a straight line from your knees through your hips to your shoulders. Hold that position for a moment, really focusing on that squeeze in your glutes, then lower back down with control. A few important details to get this right. Keep your core engaged throughout the movement. Don't let your lower back arch excessively at the top. and make sure you're driving through your heels rather than your toes. If you feel this mostly in your hamstrings, try moving your feet slightly closer to your body. If you feel it in your lower back, you're probably hyperextending at the top. Find that sweet spot where you feel a strong contraction right in the middle of your glutes. Start with 2 sets of 10 repetitions. As you get stronger, you can add more reps, hold the top position longer, or even place a light weight across your hips for added resistance. The beauty of this exercise is that your knees stay in a fixed bent position the entire time. There's no compression, no grinding, no stress on the joint, just pure muscle activation exactly where you need it. Strong glutes protect your knees from above. But what about the muscles on the front of your thighs? Your quadriceps are absolutely essential for everyday function. They're the muscles that straighten your knee. They help you stand up. They control your descent when you sit down. They power you upstairs. Weakness in the quadriceps is one of the strongest predictors of difficulty with basic daily activities as we age. The problem is that most quadriceps exercises involve significant knee bending. Squats, lunges, leg presses, they all require you to flex and extend your knee through a large range of motion under load. For sensitive knees, that's often where problems start. But there's a simple alternative that strengthens your quadriceps without requiring deep knee flexion. The seated leg extension is a chair-based exercise that directly targets the front of your thighs while keeping your knee in a controlled, comfortable range of motion. Medical professionals frequently recommend this exercise for people with knee arthritis because it builds the supporting muscles without aggravating the joint itself. One rheumatologist put it simply, "Exercise is the single most important thing you can do for knee arthritis because it strengthens the muscles around the joint, takes pressure off the knee, and improves overall function." The seated leg extension does exactly that. Here's how to perform it correctly. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor and your back supported. You can hold lightly onto the sides of the chair for stability. From this position, slowly straighten one leg out in front of you, lifting your foot until your leg is extended. You don't need to lock your knee aggressively at the top. Just straighten it to a comfortable point where you feel your quadriceps engage. Hold that position for a second or two, then lower your foot back down with control. Complete all your repetitions on one side before switching to the other leg. The key to making this exercise effective is the tempo. Don't rush through it. Take about 2 seconds to lift, hold briefly at the top, then take 3 or 4 seconds to lower. That slow, controlled lowering phase is where a lot of the strengthening happens. You're teaching your quadriceps to control movement, which translates directly to better control when you're walking, climbing stairs, or getting up from a seat. Once you've mastered the basic version, you can progress by holding the top position longer, adding more repetitions, or strapping light ankle weights to increase the resistance. Start with what you can do comfortably and build from there. 2 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions per leg is a solid starting point for most people. Notice what's happening here. Your knee is extending, yes, but it's not bearing weight. You're not compressing the joint. You're simply activating the muscle that supports it. That's a completely different stress pattern than what happens in a squat. And for many people with sensitive knees, it makes all the difference. Now we come to the third exercise, and this one is particularly clever because it gives you many of the benefits of a squat while dramatically reducing the stress on your knees. I'm talking about the wall sit, sometimes called the wall squat. The wall sit takes the basic squatting movement and transforms it into something much more joint-friendly. By leaning your back against a wall, you remove the balance challenge and change the force distribution through your legs. The wall supports some of your weight. Your knees don't have to travel as far forward, and you have complete control over how deep you go. Physical therapists often recommend Wall sits because they strengthen the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes, the same muscles worked by traditional squats, while providing built-in protection for the knee joint. The muscles that support your knees get stronger, which can actually help improve knee pain over time. Plus, this exercise mimics real-world movements. When you sit down in a chair or stand up, you're essentially doing a partial squat. The wall sit trains that exact movement pattern in a controlled way. Here's the technique. Stand with your back flat against a wall and walk your feet out about 12 to 18 inches from the base of the wall. Your feet should be about hip-width apart, toes pointing forward or slightly outward. From here, slowly slide your back down the wall by bending your knees. Go only as low as feels comfortable. For some people, that might be a very shallow bend. For others, you might be able to get your thighs parallel to the floor. The important thing is that your knees stay behind your toes and don't shoot forward past them. Once you've reached your comfortable depth, hold that position. You'll feel your thighs start to work. That's the point. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds initially. Then press through your heels and slide back up the wall to standing. As you get stronger, you can increase the hold time, lower yourself a bit deeper, or add more repetitions. A critical point here, you choose the depth. There's no requirement to go low. If you can only slide down a few inches before your knees start to complain, then that's your working range. Strength builds at whatever depth you train. Over time, as your muscles get stronger and your confidence grows, you may find you can comfortably go a bit lower. Or you might stay at the same depth and just hold it longer. Both approaches work. For those who want an even gentler option, the chair-assisted squat is another excellent choice. Stand in front of a sturdy chair. Lower yourself down until you lightly touch the seat, then stand back up. The chair is there for safety and reference. You can even sit all the way down and stand back up if that feels better for your knees. It's still building strength. It's still training the movement pattern. And it's infinitely safer than forcing yourself through painful traditional squats. By now you have 3 powerful exercises in your toolkit, but understanding why they work together makes them even more effective. Think about your knee as a joint that depends entirely on the muscles around it for protection. The knee itself has no muscles. It's just bones, cartilage, and ligaments. Every bit of stability, every bit of shock absorption from a muscular standpoint comes from the tissues above and below the joint. The glute bridge strengthens the muscles above your knee. Strong glutes control how your thigh bone moves and rotates. When your glutes are powerful, your thigh bone stays in better alignment, which reduces abnormal stress on the knee joint. Below, the seated leg extension strengthens the muscles directly in front of your knee. Your quadriceps are the primary controller of knee extension. When they're strong, they absorb forces that would otherwise go straight into the joint. They also help control eccentric movements, like lowering yourself into a chair, which is where a lot of knee strain occurs. The wall sit strengthens all the major muscles at once, while training them to work together in a functional pattern. It builds endurance, improves your ability to hold positions under load, and directly mimics the kinds of movements you do every single day. Together, these 3 exercises create a protective shield around your knee joint. They build the muscular support system that takes pressure off the joint surfaces. And they do it all while keeping your knees in safe, controlled positions. Let's talk about how to put this into practice with a simple weekly routine. Start with 2 to 3 sessions per week on non-consecutive days. Your muscles need time to recover and adapt between workouts. Doing these exercises every single day might actually slow your progress because you're not giving your body that crucial recovery window. For each session, work through all 3 exercises. Begin with the glute bridge because it warms up your hips and activates the muscles that support your entire lower body. Move to the seated leg extension to target your quadriceps directly. Finish with the wall sit to integrate everything together in a functional holding pattern. A solid starting point for most people is 2 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions for the glute bridge and leg extension, plus 2 or 3 wall sit holds of 10 to 15 seconds each. That's manageable, achievable, and effective. You should feel your muscles working, but you shouldn't feel joint pain. As the weeks go by and these exercises start to feel easier, you have several options for progression. You can add more repetitions. You can add more sets. You can slow down the tempo to increase time under tension. You can hold positions longer. For the glute bridge and leg extension, you can add light resistance like ankle weights or a dumbbell. Each of these progressions signals your muscles to keep adapting and growing stronger. Here's the most important principle, though. Consistency beats intensity. A moderate workout you do 3 times a week for months will always outperform an intense session you do once and then abandon because it was too hard. Start where you are. Progress gradually. Show up regularly. The results will come. Before we finish, let me share a few common mistakes to avoid. First, don't rush through the movements. Speed kills the effectiveness of these exercises. Slow, controlled repetitions build more strength and protect your joints better than fast, sloppy ones. Count your tempo. 2 seconds up. Pause. 3 or 4 seconds down. That control is where the magic happens. Second, don't hold your breath. It sounds obvious, but many people unconsciously hold their breath during strength exercises. This spikes your blood pressure and makes the exercise harder than it needs to be. Breathe naturally. Exhale during the effort phase. Inhale during the return. Third, know the difference between muscle fatigue and joint pain. When your muscles start to burn and feel tired toward the end of a set, that's normal and actually desirable. That fatigue signals that you're challenging your muscles enough to trigger adaptation. But sharp pain in your knee joint, grinding sensations, or pain that persists after you stop, those are warning signs. If an exercise consistently causes joint pain, modify it or skip it entirely and consult with your doctor or physical therapist. Fourth, don't skip the warm-up. Cold muscles don't perform as well and are more prone to strain. Even just 2 or 3 minutes of light walking or gentle movement before you start can make a noticeable difference in how your exercises feel. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Building strong, functional legs after 60 doesn't require you to push through painful movements that make your knees worse. These 3 exercises, the glute bridge, the seated leg extension, and the wall sit, deliver real strength gains to the exact muscles you need while respecting the limitations of a knee joint that may have lost some of its youthful cushioning. Stronger legs mean better balance. They mean more confidence when you walk. They mean getting up from chairs without struggling. They mean climbing stairs without fear. They mean maintaining your independence and your quality of life for years to come. You don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You just need a chair, a wall, and a few minutes several times a week. Start with one exercise if that's all you can manage. Add the others as you build confidence. Progress at your own pace. Listen to your body. If you found this helpful, please subscribe.